to a middle ground. They want to go all the way to the other side. That's the problem. That does not work. It hasn't worked throughout the country that they've already made these types of changes. It's a disaster waiting to happen.
And now, all right, tell me about that. They're saying, yeah, they were saying, I think, and I'm going to, all right, they're saying in Davidson County, 60% of people just stay in jail because they can't afford the bond. It's not that way in, I think they said, New York City and Washington, D.C., that it's only like 0.3%, and that they don't have the same system we have. When you look around, what concerns you about what you see when they have a completely different system, when that pendulum swings too far, in your opinion? Well,
the most recent and closest to our system, by their own admission, is Harris County, Texas, Houston, Texas. A federal judge there said that the system, very similar to the one in Nashville, was unconstitutional, ordered all misdemeanors to be released. Within 1 day, release them all. Well, according to the data there, the forfeiture rate, the failure to appear rate on those people went to about 43%. In Nashville, as Mario can attest, bonding companies' forfeit rates are about 4%. And at 4, that's high. We try to keep it 1, 2, 3. There's a tremendous difference there.
You're saying then, obviously, if there's not that incentive, a money incentive, they're not going to show back up for court.
Well, and not just a money incentive from the defendant standpoint, but since the bonding company has a financial incentive, we go out and bring those people back to justice.
How often do you do that? How often does that happen?
Again, it varies. Minimum 4 or 5 times a month.
Exactly.
Really? 4 or 5 times a month?
Most people you can call and say, hey, you know, you need to get this straight, get with your attorney, get a new court date, get this matter resolved. And most people, most people that we deal with, we have a relationship with their family. We've bonded out several family members. You can call the granddad and says, hey, get little Johnny straightened out. And he'll call the lawyer. The lawyer will get a new court date, and they'll get it kind of situated. We have that ability. And then we have some people that'll call and says, hey, Mario, he's really gotten bad on drugs. I would like for you guys to come over here and pick him up and place him back in custody because he's just gotten out of hand. And that's happened a lot of times as well.
So you all do go into some pretty dangerous situations.
We do, yes,
sure,
sir.
And it's happening several times a month.
Sure.
Yes.
Huh. All right.
And, we don't restrict ourselves to Davidson County. We go to other states. We go wherever that person may be to bring them back, and that is at our expense.
That's right. And the taxpayers are not flipping the cost. A lot of times when you take the sheriff's department, when a person misses, he's not going to the sheriff's department is not going to go out and try to track him down. They're just, if he gets arrested or stopped or something, then at that point they'll arrest him and bring him back into custody. But there's nobody there. There's no checks and balances to say, hey, little Johnny didn't go to court, and we're going to go out and make sure he gets back into the system.
There was a recent article in the New York Times, I know you all have seen it, when bail feels less like freedom, more like extortion. And I want to read the first line. As bail has grown into a $2 billion industry, bond agents have become the payday lenders of the criminal justice world, offering quick relief to desperate customers at high prices. So that's quite a mouthful there. What do you say to that?
Well, our fee is established by the Tennessee State Legislature. I've been in the business for 31 years. The fee has been 10% for 31 years. If they are of the mind that the fees are too exorbitant, by all means, lobby the state legislature and have the fees reduced. I don't see a problem with that. That would be a way to tweak
the system.
And, and I would submit, Mr. Hall, we are not the ones that set the bond. Those are the commissioners, the judges. They're the ones who set the bond. We just make the bonds if the person has, the means to do so. We're not the ones out here setting the bond. So basically, when a person gets arrested, hey, breaking in a car at night, he goes over there before the commissioner, and the police officer says, hey, I swear and affirm this young man just broke in 5 cars in this in this apartment complex, and the commissioner says, okay, you have a $10,000 bond. The commissioner's the one that set the bond. And then basically when his mother or family member calls up and says, hey, Mark, I want to make my son's bond, then it's up to them to come down and make the bond. But we're not the ones who set the bond. We're just there as like a bank, just like when anyone else goes and, we're going to do a loan for a home or whatnot, or a vehicle loan. We're just a bank.
Mm-hmm. And, Ben, it's not uncommon for families to contact us, and say the bond is quite sizable, $50,000 or $60,000, that we will advise them, contact an attorney, try to have that bond reduced. Use that money and pay an attorney to get it reduced.
Right.
We tried every possible avenue to help the people. Mm-hmm. We really do.
They are desperate. There's no doubt. And I think in this article, they're getting into a situation in other areas. It's not here in Nashville, but where if somebody doesn't pay what they owe, then they can be rearrested and that kind of thing. Is that happening here? You're getting your money up front. Is that right?
Yes.
So again, I mean, say the bond is 10% and they've only paid you a percentage of it, and then they're trying to go into court. In this article, they're not allowing them to go into court, and then they're violating, and it's more problems for them. I guess you saw that article. Is that happening? Or?
Though there were some issues like that, probably 20 years ago, where a company would do someone's bond on a credit basis. When the person was unable to make their payment, they would go out, arrest them, and surrender them back to jail. It did not take long for that company to no longer be in business. Agents with the company went to the penitentiary.
Wow.
And the judges, the criminal court judges, established then that is a civil matter. You cannot arrest somebody for not paying you the bond fee. So that happened again 20 years ago, but that has remedied itself.
That would be an example of a worst case scenario. People that are completely out of bounds and breaking the law.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We have several calls, so if you're on the line, hold on. If you want to call in, there's the number, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. We'll take a break, come back, continue our discussion right after this.